So we're doing section 3.6, examples 1 and 2. Open your books to page 122. I definitely want you to read the beginning intro paragraphs that you find on page 122 because it talks about what God thinks of money. And it surprised me to learn just how much the Bible says about money. There are approximately 500 verses on prayer, fewer than 500 on faith, but more than 2,350 verses on how to handle money and be a good steward of what God's given you. Moreover, Jesus Christ said more about money than any other subject. Now we need to ask ourselves why Christ had so much to say about money. He lived in a much simpler society than ours. He was never tempted by the wiles of a credit card, and I suspect he never had to reconcile his checkbook. Our Lord said so much about money for 3 reasons. 1, how we handle our money will impact our fellowship with the Lord. 2, our possessions compete with the Lord for the mastery of our lives. And 3, much of life revolves around the use of money. So the Bible's not just a history book. It is written instructions for His creation, the how-tos. And so He gave us direction when it comes to handling money and the material possessions that He's given us. So this section, you probably figured it out, we're talking about money. All right? Percentages, which we've been dealing with percents, is used in retail stores, okay? And so we got some definitions that we need to talk to you about. The first definition is cost, okay? So let's say a store like Walmart. Walmart will go to some manufacturer and they will buy an item. Let's say they're going to a manufacturer and they're buying flip-flops. You know, the little sandals for the summer. Okay, so the store owners, let's say they purchased some flip-flops for $10. All right, so the cost, the store's cost was $10 to get this item, Walmart. Now, Walmart has to add some additional amount when they turn around and sell it to us. That the amount that they add to their cost is called the markup. And in order to determine, and this is real important, how much are they going to mark up the price? Well, they have to figure out the cost to run their business. How much is electricity? How much are the other utilities? How much to pay their employers? They got to figure all that in and plus have enough money to pay all those expenses and then also earn profit on top. So that's what they do when they're trying to decide what would be a good markup. And then when you take the cost that they did, so let's say they've decided to mark up these flip-flops $4, okay? So that means the retail price, that's our third definition, and you really need to know these definitions and these terms. In fact, any profession you go into will have their own terminologies. Lawyers have their own vocabulary. Mathematicians have their own vocabulary. Scientists have their own vocabulary. Doctors, well, guess what? So does businesses. So when they're talking about money. So retail, which is how much we would buy the flip-flops for, is going to be the cost plus the markup. So the cost to them was 10. The markup was 4, right? So the retail price is $14. So they're gonna, this is why they always call Walmart, is called the middleman. You ever heard that? If you can get rid of the middleman, you can save a lot of money. So they bought it for 10. They decided to turn around and add $4 to that, and they're going to turn around and sell it to us for $14. And that amount is called the retail price. A lot of times, a lot of people will save money when they order online because really what they're doing is they're cutting out that middleman a lot of times, depending on where you're ordering, and they're going directly to the manufacturer and buying it for $10. So the internet's been wonderful in that regard. It gives us access to the manufacturer, and sometimes we can cut out that middleman like the Walmart. All right. So that is the definitions of cost, markup, and retail price. So we can, if we wanted to find out what the markup rate was, let's talk about markup rate. How do we find the markup? Well, the markup, in this case we said was $4, is the markup rate, and remember this rate is talking about a percent. All right, so I'm going to put percent here so that you know that's what we're talking about. The markup rate times the cost. So if I wanted to find what was the markup rate, I could go ahead and plug in for this equation. Our markup was $4, right? And basically I'm wanting to know what was the markup rate, and the cost to us was $10. I'm just plugging in for this formula here. I can find out what the markup rate is. And so in this equation, what are we going to do? We're going to divide this. We're going to get 4/10 equals whatever that markup rate is. And when we get done, we get, this is 0.4, right? And to make it a percent, we've got to move our decimal over. So the markup rate was 40%, which is another way of saying 40%, if I plug that in there, 40% of $10 is $4. So that's the rate. This is the actual dollar amount. Markup is the dollar amount. Markup rate, again, is a percent. Now, what if, so Walmart did this, and the season's over, the summer's ending. They've got several flip-flops left. They want to get rid of them because fall's coming and nobody's going to buy flip-flops in the fall. So they're going to turn around at that time and they're going to put a discount on this and try to give you a sales price to try to get rid of those items that they have in the store. All right. So you might walk into the store per se, and let's say that you walk into the store and you see that, I'm trying to figure out where I want to write this. Let's say you see that the flip-flops were $14 and they're now 20% off. You see that sign. Well, that doesn't tell you how much you have to pay for the flip-flops. Okay, are you paying 13, 11, 12? What are you paying? All you know is it's 20% off. So we got to figure out what is the discount. What is the actual amount that they're taking off? So the discount would be, and this is the discount, so I'm just going to use that as a D. The discount here is the rate. Well, the rate is 20% because this is a discount rate. This is not a markup rate. Markup is you're adding it. Discount is you're decreasing the amount. So the discount rate in this case is 20%, right? Times the retail price. The retail price is $14. And now we can find out what is the discount. So we're going to go ahead and work this problem. Put this as a decimal. Go ahead and multiply that out on your calculator. And you end up getting D equals $2.40. Oh, 80 cents, excuse me. You guys were wanting that ticket, weren't you? Okay. So really what that's saying is this is the amount that they're taking off. That's what that discount is. Discount is the amount that they're taking off. So now you know you're saving $2.80. But do you know what the sell price is? No, we got to find the sell price, right? So how are we going to go about finding the sell price? Now let's look here. the sale price, and this just makes common sense, but the sale price is the amount, the retail, minus the discount. All right, discount. I'm going to write that out here in just a minute. Let's just go ahead and do that. I want to keep my formulas here. My board's not big enough. All right. So we want to know, what is the sale price? Well, we know the retail was 14. That was the original retail. We know the discount is $2.80. When we do that math, we're going to end up with $11.20. So our sale price, okay, is $11.20. So we are paying $11.20. Out of curiosity, would you know the profit? Before, when they were selling it, I shouldn't say profit. Before they were selling, the markup was $4. So they were getting $4 out of it. That may not be the necessarily a profit, because what might happen here is they had to pay for utility $3 or an employee or whatever, so their profit would maybe like $1 be less. So actually, I don't want to say profit. So actually, the markup here, originally they bought it for $10, so now their markup really is $1.20. So it's not as high as the markup, and you're getting a better deal. All right, so that is my explanations for definitions. Now let's look at example 1. Okay. Example 1, it says the cost, that means how much they got it from the manufacturer, was $15. The markup rate, now they're not giving you the markup, they're giving you the markup rate. So they tell you the markup rate was 75%. That's on example 1. And they're asking you, what is the retail price? What is the retail price? Well, let's look at what we know. Take out the old information. What do we know? What is the retail price? Well, we got to figure out what the markup was, right? So we can find out the retail price. So here we go. The markup rate was 75%. The cost was 15, right? And that's the same thing as saying, I'm going to change this to decimal. Okay, times the 15. That's what this parentheses next to parentheses means. This gives me that markup rate. Okay, and I multiply that out. And I get looking at my old notes. Hold on, let me turn the page to my book. That might help. Example 1. So you get that 75 times 15. I guess I did not write that down. So let's do that on the calculator. All of you might want to do it with me if you want. I guess I had did it. Okay, it was 11.25. So that's the markup. That is not how much we're paying for. They want to know, what is the retail price? That's the question, right? They're wanting to know, what is this retail price? All right, so you basically are going to take the cost. Let me write that out. You're going to take the cost plus the markup equals the retail price. So the cost was 15. The markup was $11.25. So your retail is now $26.25. So this is your retail. Okay, note that retail, again, equals the cost plus the markup. You note that. Okay, let's look at example 2 and look at our information. Get rid of our old information. Example 2, it says, find the price of a tennis racket. Paulo saved, okay, so they're telling us that he saved, let's write down what we know, he saved $52.50 during a 30% off sale, right? And they're asking you to find out what is the retail price. So it's wanting to know what is the retail price. That's what they're trying to find out. So let's look at the information that we do know. We know that the discount, which is how much you're taking off, so the discount is really how much they saved. So they're talking about saving. So the discount is $52.50. The discount rate was 30% times the retail price. That's what we're trying to find. So now we've got an equation. We're going to go ahead and solve. Make this into a decimal. Go ahead and solve this. Divide by 0.3 or 30. And you get R equals, and when you divide that out, you get 175. Okay, so the original item cost $175. That's the retail price. And they had it on sale for 30%, which means you saved $52.50. Well, how much are you paying? Because again, that doesn't tell me what you're paying. So if you took this retail price, you subtract your discount, that's going to give you that sales price, remember? So let's do that. We got a retail price of $175 minus what we saved, which is the discount, $52.50, equals this sale price, right? We'll go ahead and we can subtract that out. And you get $122.50. That's the sale price. So that's what you're paying for. You're actually paying $122.50. Originally the retail was $75 and your discount was $52.50. Okay. Now, what if we had the same information almost, but they changed it just a little bit? What if, because remember, this is what they gave us. They gave us what we saved and they gave us the percent. That was the only thing given on this one. What if they gave us some different information? How would that work? Well, what if they told you again that the discount or the discount rate was 30%, but instead of giving you this sales price, what if they told you that the sale price was $122.50? So what if this is the information now? And they asked you to find the same thing, find the retail price. Well, if you remember what I had written earlier, I'm just going to abbreviate here, but the sale price equals the retail minus the discount, right? And they told us the sell price. In fact, they told us that was $122.50. And we're trying to find out the retail. We're still trying to find out the retail. We just have different information. But we don't know what the discount is. All right, we've got to find out what is the discount. So guess what? Remember, discount is what? The discount rate and the retail price? Okay, that's what the discount is. So to plug in for this D, discount, I'm actually plugging in this formula. So basically that is the discount rate, okay, times the retail. Well, they gave us the discount rate, didn't they? So we can go ahead and plug in what we know. We're looking for the retail. The discount rate is 30% times this R. We can make this the same thing as 0.3 or 0.3 R. Bring everything else down. Now some of you might be able to do some of this in your head or skip a few steps, but I'm trying to write every step down so you can exactly know where did I come up with whatever I came up with. But we're solving for R here. We can't simplify anymore. We can't plug in anything else. But we notice we have two R's here. So this isn't new to you. You've just got to get one R. Well, remember our distributive property? We're going to do that reverse distributive property. So this is going to be 1 because 1 times R gives me R. Bring out my minus sign. And this is going to be 0.30 because 0.30 times R gives me 0.30 R. If I was to distribute this back in, I would end up with this same equation. So I can do that. Now I have 1 R. That was that distributive, the reverse of it. All right. But 1 minus 0.3 is 0.7. So this is what we get, 0.7 R. And now we're ready to solve. They're multiplying, so you're going to divide both sides by this. And what happens is this cancels out and you get R equals whatever this is when you divide it out. So what is it when you divide it out? You get, actually when you divide it out, you get the 175, which is what we got before, which is the retail price. Remember, that's what R represents. R is the retail price. Okay? But let's look at this a little closer. All right, because you know, you're sitting here going, okay, well now I got this R minus the D, R times the R, whatever, okay? What they really are doing here, if they are taking off 30%, what percent are you paying? Okay, they're taking off 30%. So my question to you is, what percent are they paying? Because that's the retail, that's the sell price basically, okay? Well, think about it. 100% is if you're paying full price minus however this discount rate is going to give you the rate in which they are actually paying, the sell price rate. All right, so you could, without doing all this, if you realize that this is what's off and you're wanting to know what they're paying, all you have to do is now know that 70% of the retail is the sales price. And then you could go ahead from here, because now you've jumped down to here, and solve the problem, and you've kind of skipped a lot of all these steps. If you just realize that this is what they're taking out, this is what you're actually paying. So you're paying 30% less, or you are paying exactly 70%, okay, of the retail price. Remember, of the retail price. So that's example 2. I would like to give you now some practice problems. I'm just going to give you 2 practice problems in which you can, when I give them there, you turn off your video and go ahead and try to do it. Come back and see if you got the right answer. So, I'm going to clear my board. Too bad I don't have a bigger board. I could write bigger, neater, and leave some stuff up for you. All right, hopefully you can see this. So the first practice problem is, I'm giving you 2 of them. The first one is, if you had a markup rate of 40%, what is the retail price if it cost the store $90? So that's the first one. The second one, and go ahead and write these down, is Tyler bought several items for $1,865.40 on a tax-free day. If the state tax is usually 5%, how much did he save by buying it on tax-free day? In other words, tax-free day means they're not going to charge you tax. So they want to know how much did he save. So see if you can work those 2 problems, then come back and check to see if you got the same answer. If you did, great. If not, watch the rest of the video. All right, so practice problem number 1. You should have gotten the answer was 126. And on problem number 2, the answer was $93.27. So those are the answers that you should have gotten on the 2 practice problems. Let's go ahead and work the first one. Again, they told you that the markup rate was 40%. And so this is markup rate. They also told you that the cost was $90. And they're asking you, what is the retail? That's the question. What is the retail? Well, now what I want to do, because I did this with the actually, remember I've always told you to do that blank percent of the whole equals the part, right? You can still use this idea here. You just got to still understand what the terminology is when doing the story problems, all right? And that looks like a funny T, doesn't it? There we go. So you can still do the same idea. So let's kind of think about that for a minute. I'm going to write this up. So first of all, it's asking what is the retail price? Well, first of all, we got to find out what is the markup. So we know that the markup rate times the cost, we know that. The markup rate times the cost, all right, equals the markup. Okay. Well, that's like saying 40% times the cost of $90 equals the markup. You go ahead and you work that out. Remember, that's 0.4 times 90. You end up with $36 equals the markup. Remember, markup is an amount. Markup rate is a percent. So they marked it up. and they ask you what is the retail price. Well, the retail price, right? Retail price equals your cost plus the markup. Well, our cost was 90 and our markup was 36. So what is our retail? You add that and you're going to get 126. Well, when I wrote this out, think about this. We said the percent here, this is a percent times the total cost. Notice this, percent times the whole, right? So again, this is the percent, right, times the 90. What was that percent? 40. So it's the percent times the whole gives me the part. You just need to realize that this part that they're referring to is actually what they are marking up the item. So they're using different terminologies here, but it's really they're manipulating the same formula that we've been working with. But you still have to, again, understand the terms. So that's the practice 1. Let's look at practice 2 and see how we did practice 2. All right, practice 2. They got the answer $93.27. Says Tyler bought several items totaled, so this is how much he paid. All right, he walked out of the store paying $1,865.40. And because it was tax-free day, he didn't have to pay the 5% tax rate that day. And they're asking how much did he save? Well, remember, let's assume how much did he save? Well, he saved on tax. So really what you're asking is, what would be the tax, 5% tax on this total amount that he paid? So what is 5% of the total? Remember, what is the percent of the whole equals the part? So it's 5% of means times, right? The whole was of what he paid equals what, and in this case, this part, remember I said you got to figure out what that part is. It's really what the tax would have been. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, convert that to decimal, multiply that times this dollar amount. And when you do that, you end up getting $93.27. Okay, what is this actually representing? The tax, right? So the tax would have been $93.27. So by waiting and buying everything on tax-free day, he saved himself $100. I would say he was being a pretty good steward of his money by waiting to do that. So that is the end of the examples 1 and 2 in practice.